Hello, my beautiful soul, and welcome to another episode of the Sacred Roots podcast. If you are going through a transition right now, this is for you, my darling. And I'm guessing many of you are actually going through a transition. I was actually surprised when I did a poll on my social media and I saw that, 40 of you answered and said, yeah, I'm going through a transition and it's pretty hard right now. I was like, wow, that's a lot of people because I'm not really going to dive into statistics, but to have that many people actually answer to a poll means that there are much, 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 much more people actually going through a transition right now. And it's not surprising. It's actually not surprising because we are in a huge transition at a collective level. But transitions are uncomfortable because we've not been taught that this is part of life and that we're actually meant to experience transitions. So this podcast is really for you if you are getting stuck in the unknown, getting really uncomfortable with the chaos. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to get out of it. You feel like there's a lack of clarity in your life, that you're seeking a new direction, but you don't really know where it is. Today, we're really going to shed a light on that darkness, really explain to you what that lack of clarity, what the darkness actually is, what that transition is, what it means for your life, and how you can navigate it. I'm going to give you some really powerful questions that you can journal with, that you can just keep in your mind, connect with in the next days, weeks, months, because these questions, they're very simple, but they're actually going to get you out of this transition, and they're going to help you recreate something that's really much in alignment with your soul, because that's why this transition is happening in the first place. All right, let's get you out of the void, the chaos, the transition. If you have a notebook and a pen, you can always jot a few things down, but I also like it when you actually just allow yourself to take the information in. This is a recorder, you can always go back to it. This information is just available to you. But when we are not writing things down, we're listening with our heart. We're listening with ourselves, we're listening with our body, and it's hitting us differently. So why do transitions happen? Let's start at the beginning, right? So there is a part of you, conscious or unconscious, that said no more. Maybe it's your mind, your ego, your soul. There's a part of you that said, I'm actually tired of this. I'd like to do something else. Maybe it's what you're doing in your business. Maybe it's your corporate job. Maybe it's the relationship that you're in. Maybe it's a habit, something that you do. You're like, no, I'm actually done with this. And usually that shows up at first like a little knock on the door. It's a little whisper. It's quite soft. We don't always hear it. And this is actually the pre-awareness, because there's something called the cycle of transformation. And that cycle of transformation has 6 phases. And chaos transition is one of those 6 phases, but it's a phase that's in the middle. And so why do transition happen? It's because there's a cycle of transformation that's been activated. And that is activated by you, by a part of you, conscious or not, that says, I'm done with this. Sometimes it's your soul and you're not completely aware of it, but it's because your soul knows that something better is meant for you, something more aligned is meant for you, or that it's time to close a chapter and start a new one. Because your soul is always craving expansion, growth, evolution, ascension. So it's always going to seek these things that need change to bring you more into alignment so that you can truly, truly bloom and just express all of your essence. So there's something that's just not working and it's been knocking on the door, but it wasn't uncomfortable enough for you to do a change. You actually stayed with that person, or you kept that habit, or you stayed at your job, or you kept that offer that you're actually not excited to keep serving to people, but it's working, it's bringing money in, so you keep it, right? So then the knock on the door is going to get louder. And that's when you're going to face a resistance, because now you're going to get aware. All right, this is really not working anymore. How do I change this? But there's a resistance, because we have a beautiful part of ourselves called the ego that wants to keep us safe. And even though something might be uncomfortable, Because it is familiar to you, it is safe to your ego, to your nervous system. And getting out of the comfort zone, doing something new, something different, unfamiliar, that's not safe to your ego and to your nervous system. So then it's going to resist it. It's going to be like, no, maybe we can keep trying. Maybe we'll just figure a way to make it work. And then there becomes a point where you realize, no, we can't keep going like this. And that's when you are at the confrontation. The third step of the cycle of transformation is confrontation. And that's when you consciously decide, no, I'm done with this. Now I'm really done. I say no more. That's when you leave the relationship. That's when you quit your job. That's when you burn your business now because something new wants to come through. That's when you move countries. So the confrontation is when you take action and you move towards something new. And then after that action that you've taken, guess what? You step into the chaos. And so the transition can actually start somewhere between the resistance and the confrontation, because you can feel that something needs to change, but you're not already doing it. Or because you don't have clarity, you're not doing it. Let me tell you, it's action that is going to bring you clarity. As long as you stay in your mind, being like, I want clarity before I confront this situation and actually say no more, you're going to stay in that situation really, really long. Because the clarity is going to come when you let go of that thing you're holding on to and you create space for the new to show up. And yes, that phase is called chaos. And chaos is uncomfortable. And chaos means the unknown. And chaos means doubt. But the beauty of chaos and why you should be excited for the chaos is that chaos is creative. Chaos is there to help you recreate, to help you birth and bring forth what's most aligned for you. Because there's a reason why your soul or a part of you suddenly got bored or unfulfilled in that situation. It's because there's more, there's something else. And you're not going to know what that something else is until you create space for it to show itself. Imagine you have a wardrobe that is full of dresses and you've evolved. To be honest, the clothes that I used to wear, they bore me now like crazy. I want to wear other clothes. I've been throwing away all my clothes for the past months and years. I mean, especially here in Bali, it's so much warmer. But I've changed so much that I just want to wear other clothes, even though I used to love all my dresses and outfits. And so imagine your closet is filled with dresses and you're like, these dresses don't work. But I don't know where I'm going to find other dresses. But I'm keeping them because, well, who knows? I might still want to wear them. But every time you wear them, it doesn't feel good. Well, you have to take action. You have to decide, okay, now I'm throwing those dresses away. I'm only keeping those that feel really good to me and the new me. And then because you're going to have an empty closet with maybe one or two dresses, and you can wear the same dress every single day if you want, but you see where I'm going with this? You're going to be like, okay, well, now let's go out. Let's go do a shopping spree. Let's go invite my girlfriends for lunch, and then we're going to go shopping and have fun and make it fun. You're going to recreate your new closet, your new style. And as long as you keep the dresses, you're not going to have the impulse to actually get a new style. As long as you stay in the relationship, as long as you stay in the job, as long as you keep those offers, you keep that habit, you're not going to be pushed towards something new, something better, something that's actually meant for you. So chaos, because suddenly you remove all the dresses from your closet, it's probably chaotic on your bed and on the floor. All the dresses are there, and then you throw them away, and then you're like, okay, I have nothing to wear now. What do I do? That's when you get to create. Because there's also a huge misunderstanding that chaos equals darkness, in the sense that You cannot see clearly. You don't know yet what dress you're going to want to wear. You need to go to the stores and try them out and see if they fit you. This example is actually perfect because it's very aligned with the questions that I'm going to share with you after. So I'm really happy. My spirit guides gave me that idea right now. It works perfectly. So also a dress is like a new identity. Ideal example. So when you are looking at your closet and there's no dress to wear, you don't really know what dress you want to wear. You don't have clarity. When there's no clarity, there's no light. When there's no light, you're in the darkness. When there's a lack of clarity, you're in the darkness. Chaos is the darkness. What is darkness? I just shared with you that chaos was creative. Well, darkness is creative as well, because think about it. Every rose started in the dark soil of the earth. Every baby was born from the dark womb. Every day started at midnight when it's pitch black, pitch dark. Unless you live in a city with lights everywhere, or unless it's the full moon. Every galaxy is born from a black hole. Nature is teaching us everywhere and in every way that darkness is creative. Darkness allows for creation, for the birth, for the transition. So don't be afraid of the darkness. Welcome it, because it means something new is coming through. It means something new is happening. And guess what? The darkness is also the feminine. Because the feminine's the creator, the feminine's the birther. And what happened to our society? What's been happening for more than 2,000 years? We've rejected the feminine. We've been afraid of the feminine, same way that we've been afraid of the witches, and that the witches were afraid to even show up. And because we've rejected the feminine, because the goddess was blamed for losing a really big war between Palestine, Israel now, and Babylon. And so the prophets at the time, 2,500 years ago, they blamed the goddess for losing that war. And the goddess then became forbidden. Everything that was connected to the goddess, to the feminine, to fertility, to the moon, all that became forbidden and had to happen behind closed doors. So the dark feminine, the birther feminine, the creative feminine, became even darker because she was hidden. She had to be hidden. And we were taught to be afraid of that dark magic, of that feminine magic, of that creative power. So if you are in a transition right now, this is an invitation to embrace your feminine. This is an invitation to remember that there's a divine part of you that wants to come through. And that can only happen through embracing the darkness, the lack of clarity, the chaos, and remembering that this is actually an opportunity for you to recreate yourself, to rebirth yourself, to bring forth what's most aligned for you, for your soul. So we are experiencing that at a collective level. And so, of course, we're also experiencing that at an individual level. So how do you move through that chaos? How do you move through that transition? So here there are 2-3 things that are really important to understand. Really, really important to understand. You move through that transition with your body, not with your mind. Let me say it differently. You move through that transition with your heart, not with your mind. In other words, you learn to surrender. You release control. Because your mind, my darling, even though it's an amazing, beautiful machine, it's limited. And it has a limited perception on reality. Because your mind is going to come up with solutions or ideas that is based on the past or what it has already seen. But like I've already said several times, who you came here to be has never been before. Who you came here to be has never been seen. Your mind has never seen it. So you cannot recreate yourself from your mind. It is going to happen from your heart, from your soul, from co-creating with the divine, from following the guidance that you receive from your spirit squad. It is going to happen through surrender and you connecting with your body and your heart. How do we do that? It's very simple. Ask yourself every single day, what do I need right now? What do I want right now? And give yourself just that, because nobody else is going to give you what you need and nobody else is going to give you what you want. You're your own sovereign being. You're your own king and queen. You're the magician you've been looking for. You're the shaman you've been looking for. You're the person that's going to make everything shift for your life. When you start asking yourself, what do I really, really want? If I didn't give a fuck, if everything was possible and I could just do whatever I wanted, what would I do right now? And do just that. Yes, it's going to be scary. Yes, you might have surprising answers that show up. But following them is the key that's going to open the door, leading you to the integration of your new identity. That's going to get you out of the chaos. That's going to get you out of the darkness. You have the answers, but maybe you're just too afraid to follow them. Well, give yourself some grace. The fear is there to protect you. Give yourself some compassion, but build up the courage to follow your heart and your desires, because they're the key. They're the key you've been looking for. You have it there inside of you. Another practice that I really like is to simply write down, what do I have clarity on right now? I have clarity that this is who I am. This is what I like. These are my friends. This is my support system. This is the amount of money I have or the amount of money I can make. This is the amount of clients I have. No matter what it is, find clarity and things that help you feel safe. What do you have clarity on, at least? And then ask yourself, what do I not have clarity on? And then you can transform those things that you don't have clarity on. You can transform them into a question. What is my purpose? What is my next step? What would I be happy to do? What is my ideal client that I want to work with? How can I make more money? Ask a question. And then ask that question to your spirit guides and ask them to help you find the answer. Because you are receiving guidance every single day. And the more you ask questions, the more you are in a conversation with your spirit squad, the more they can actually help you. They are going to send you signs. They are going to send you support, people, opportunities, situations. And your role is to then respond to them. If you don't know exactly how they are talking to you, I would invite you to go back to my previous episodes, 4 different kinds of signs, to really be able to understand what is showing up in your reality and what's expected of you in these situations. And really often, our soul, the universe, spirit squad, whatever you want to call it, they're going to send us an answer, but in a way that we did not expect it. Because it's going to be an opportunity, a challenge that's going to help us step up. It's going to be someone that triggers us, that's going to help us set a boundary, or again, step up. It's going to be maybe an opportunity to join a program, to go on a retreat, to read a book, to go to a cacao ceremony or a woman's circle. And your mind is probably going to be like, but I don't have time for this. I'm too busy trying to find clarity on my path. I can't go out. I can't go to a retreat in Bali. By the way, we still have a few spots left if you feel called to come. Well, guess what? It's never going to show up the way you planned it. because your mind cannot plan everything. Your mind has a limited perception. It does not have the greater plan of the universe in mind. Although you are the universe as well, there is a greater plan unfolding underneath this huge transition that you're in. And your mind has no idea about it. So that's also why it's very important to surrender, to trust, and allow that greater plan to unfold. If these opportunities show up and they get you out of your comfort zone, they make you feel a little scary, but there is a part of you that's like, what do I really want? Yeah, I would actually love to do that. I would love to go to that cacao ceremony with all those women. All right, I don't know anyone. It's a bit scary. I'm going to be alone maybe for the first 10 minutes, but I would love to go. Or I would love to go to that event where I might meet the love of my life. Or I would love to go to that retreat that's going to help me find clarity on my path and connect with my divine feminine. Or I would love to read that book, even if I think I'm too busy. If there is a part of you that is excited by that idea, by that project, that knows it's aligned, change your plans and make it happen. Your plans were created by your mind to keep you safe and to control. It's by releasing control and remember that you are safe no matter what, that you're going to allow the greater plan to unfold, that you're going to be able to make this transition much easier. The last thing I want to share with you is that no matter what, always, always trust the wisdom of your body. Let's do an exercise. I wasn't planning to do that, but let's do an exercise because that's going to help you actually find that clarity in your body. Close your eyes. Inhale and exhale. And with every exhale, relax your body. I'm fully in this present moment. If you're driving, keep driving. You can do this later. If you're going for a walk, find a nice tree that you can sit next to, lean against. And fully connect with the earth. And your body is now completely relaxed. Now we see a red light shooting down from your root chakra, connecting you with the crystalline core of the earth and grounding you deeply. Now ask your body to show you a yes. Please show me, body, a yes. How does it feel in my body when it's yes? And observe the sensations, maybe a color you're seeing, tinglings in certain parts of your body, a sense of openness and expansion. Just observe what's showing up. Now, body, please show me a no. How does it show up in my body when it's a no, when it's not aligned for me? And observe the sensations that are showing up now. And now, body, show me the desire. When I have a desire, it comes from my soul that's deeply aligned. Show me how that shows up in my body. Now thank your body for communicating with you. And slowly in your own time, you can open your eyes. So this was simple, and I hope you got answers from your body and sensations. And this helps you see when something is aligned, when something's a yes, when it's a desire that's aligned, that's coming from your soul, or when it's a no. And then final tip for you. I'm giving you it all today. There's another way that you can also know if something is aligned for you, how you can move through that transition. Because in that unknown, in the way to find clarity and to move through the darkness is to follow the guidance, follow the wisdom of your body one step at a time, and allow that greater plan to unfold one step at a time. You'll have clarity when you take those actions and when you trust those messages that you're receiving from your body, those yeses and no. And there's another way to actually know if something is right for you. It's the knowing, actually. If you are thinking, it's your mind, it's your ego. Remember a moment where something showed up in your reality and you just knew you had to do that. You had to say yes. You had to quit that job. You had to leave something behind and move towards something else. I'm sure there are moments in your life where you just knew it was the right decision to make. That's because your soul knows. There's a knowing inside of you. But your ego thinks, your mind thinks. It's going to analyze. It's going to come up with a strategy. It's going to observe what's the best solution here. If you're thinking about it, you're controlling. If you think you should say yes, probably not the right thing to say yes to. If you know it's yes, even though it's complicated and you have to change your plans, well, then it's your soul that's guiding you. If you know it's time to quit, but you feel forced to stay for different reasons, why you know you're just creating more misalignment for yourself. So I've given you a lot of tools today to help you move through the transition, to help you surrender in a really practical way and find that clarity. I would love to hear from you, see which ones you implemented, which ones are going to help you, and feel free to re-message me in a few weeks or months when you are on the other side of that transition and share with me if this podcast has helped you. Of course, if this is really powerful for you, feel free to share it on Instagram and social media so that more women can actually also enjoy the wisdom of this podcast, because many, many of you are transitioning, going through a hard time. And I can't reach anyone yet, not right now at least. One day, definitely. But that will happen with your help, by you sharing my work, leaving a review on Apple or Spotify, or sharing it with your friends on social media. Thank you, my darling. Take care of yourself. I know this is a hard time. Be really, really compassionate with yourself. Welcome all the fear, all the tears, all the chaos. And then use all those tips I've given you, tips and tricks, all those tools, all the teas, to help you move through that transition, because there's a lot of magic in those tools that I've given you today. Don't underestimate the power of those tools I've given you. They can really completely shift your life. And I'm going to be honest, I use these tips and tricks and tools all the time. That's just how I live my life. I check with my body. I check with my knowing. I follow the guidance, and I completely let go of control. I love my very useful brain. I love how it works. It's allowed me to write amazing books and help a lot of people. But when it comes to living my most aligned life, that's not the zone of my brain. That's the zone of my soul and my heart. And that happens in the body. Take care, my darling. I'll see you in the next episode.